DreamWorks Animation's extremely popular and successful movie saga Shrek ended at 4 movies. 4 short films. Many fans were pissed off with DreamWorks, but what little of them know is that the series was actually supposed to go up to 5 movies. They stopped at 4 for a reason I will now tell you. The animation was started for Shrek Forever After, so Josh Klausner, Darren Lemick, the writers of Shrek 4, and Ted Elliott, the writer of the first Shrek movie, started working on the screenplay for the 5th and last Shrek movie. The final script turned out fine, and the storyboard artist started working on the storyboard. Everything was running smoothly until a new animator joined the team. His name was Alan Phillips. He seemed normal at first, but he started to get odd after a while, after they started on the animation. Some other employees described him as a fruitcake and a nutjob. 6 months passed in late 2009, and the animation had finally been completed. It was now time for the editor to do his role in the production of Shrek 5. The editor, director, and a handful of producers were all gathered around a TV as they started watching the animation. It was about an hour and 46 minutes long. The movie started with Shrek waking up in his bed. He seemed rather happy. He rolled over to wake up Fiona, his wife. "Wake up, hon," only to realize that she wasn't there. His happy smile sunk into a sad frown. His eyes opened wide. He got out of his bed and walked out of the room. Lying on the ground was Donkey, who he expected to have just been sleeping. He said, "Donkey, have you seen my wife?" Donkey didn't reply. Shrek said the same thing, but a bit louder and angrier than before. He bent over and shook Donkey. "Donkey!" He flipped Donkey over, only to realize that there had been a large hole in the center of its stomach, but there was no organs inside. Blood gushed out of the hole, and Shrek quickly dropped to his knees. Shrek started tearing up, which eventually turned into him crying. Shrek knelt there for about 10 seconds, and then got back up. He stopped crying, but he was still upset. He walked over to the kitchen and saw Fiona lying in the oven along with Gingy. Both of their faces had been melted because of the oven. Shrek fell to the ground and started sobbing, but it was louder than anything anyone would have ever done before. He covered his eyes with his palms, and his sobbing got louder and grainier. Shrek started throwing up. His crying turned into laughter. After 5 minutes of crying and puking and laughing, he became silent for half a minute. He looked at the screen, revealing 2 bloodshot eyes and honeydew-colored skin and a frightening smile, and blood splattered all over his face. Clothing and palms and knuckles and rotting teeth. His stare was horrifying. It was enough to make anybody have nightmares. Shrek got up and walked to his cutlery cabinet. He pulled out a large, sharp butcher knife and started hacking at his flesh and started to cut off his limbs. Finally, he took the knife and cut out his eyes as blood gushed out of his empty sockets. He laughed non-stop until he dropped like a rock. The rest of the movie was Shrek's body lying on the ground, slowly starting to rot. They were all absolutely disgusted. 2 of the 5 producers with us threw up on the ground, and another one fainted, and the director ran out of the room. He went over to the animators and asked them about the movie. None of them knew what he was talking about, except Adam Phillips. He knew exactly what he was talking about. The director looked suspicious of him and checked through his computer, and sure enough, found the animation file containing exactly what they had watched. He also started to look through the other people's computers, but noticed there was no animation file of Shrek 5. Many of the animators were upset and angry because of all the sweat and work they put into the animation, only for it to be deleted. Although they have no proof that it was Adam, they all expected it to have been. The director contacted his boss and told him about the whole thing, and soon enough, Adam was fired. As all this took place, 2 other producers pretty much quit their jobs, and the rest of them continued working, although they really pretty much weren't the same. Only one of the producers kept his job, as the other 2 producers, the directors, and the editor quit their jobs at DreamWorks afterwards. But before the director left, he deleted the animation file. How do I know all this, you might be asking yourself? Well, one of the producers is a great friend of mine, so after he quit his job, he told me about the quote-unquote movie and how it would continue to mess with his life from here on out.